Hello again and welcome to our November edition of Quick Kit. Links to everything we mentioned will be down in the description below. Let's get into it. First off, the Sony Venice 2 has to be the biggest announcement this month. We did a video covering the release of the Venice 2 in depth, which you can check out right here. But long story short, the Venice 2 improves on a whole bunch of different aspects of the original Venice and brings with it a new 8.6K full frame sensor, which looks incredible from the footage we've seen from it so far. Fingers crossed we get our hands on one ASAP to do a full review. Blackmagic announced the Ursa Broadcast G2 earlier this month, which looks to improve on their original Ursa Broadcast. This new camera looks to use the same 6K Super 35 sensor as the Pocket 6K and 6K Pro, and features the same updated Generation 5 colour science. This new version has added DNx HD, but has added support for 10-bit H.265, which will be handy for long recording sessions. With the release of the camera, Blackmagic also released an updated Studio Viewfinder, which now has a 2000 nits 7-inch display. Overall, this looks like a really great update for people needing the features that the Broadcast has over the regular Ursa, but want the improved sensor size and performance that the last version lacked. DJI have released the Mavic 3 and the Mavic 3 Cine. These new drones are DJI's latest in their incredibly popular Mavic line, and they both feature a dual camera system, one 4/3 inch CMOS sensor and one 1/2 inch sensor for the 28x hybrid zoom. Having a dual camera setup is awesome to see, as it means you have less compromise. Both versions have a maximum flight time of just over 45 minutes, which is much improved over the roughly 30 minutes of the Mavic 2 Pro. The Cine version is basically the same as the regular, however it has the ability to record ProRes 422HQ internally to a built-in 1TB SSD. They can both capture 5.1K up to 50 FPS, as well as up to 120 frames per second in 4K. The footage that has been published online looks pretty great, so for people wanting a serious professional drone for filmmaking, these could be awesome. But DJI has seriously increased the price over the previous generation of Mavic, which will price out the lower end of the pro market and consumers. There have been so many new lenses announced this month. First off, the Kata zooms from DZO. These two new full-frame zooms consist of a 35-80mm t2.9 and a 70-135 t2.9. We got a chance to check out the 35-80 earlier this month and create a video which you can look at via the link below. Currently they are only available in a range of mirrorless mounts, but DZO has confirmed that they will be releasing a PL and an EF version, which will be in a more traditional metal housing and feature no rear filter system. I kinda wish that they had done this from the beginning though, as I think they would be more popular with these mounts, but I guess time will tell. Cooke has also released two new full-frame zooms, the 30-95mm and 85-215mm t2.9 Veritol zooms. These new lenses have been designed to give DPs the choice to shoot with the beloved Cooke look in a zoom form factor while using large format cameras, which is great to see. The lenses do look quite large, but that's not surprising given Cooke's design history and the fact it's a full frame zoom. However, they really aren't that much larger and heavier than an average S7, which is actually pretty impressive. As you would expect, they also have iData built in. They come in either PL or LPL, and have a maximum image coverage of 46.31mm, which will be enough for most large format sensors. However, it may vignette on Red VistaVision sensors. We will get these lenses onto our lens tool as soon as we can, and we are super excited to check these out. It's great how many full frame high-end zooms we now have to choose from on the market. Cooke has also updated their fantastic Panchro Classics to now cover full frame. Half of the original set did cover full frame, so the 65mm macro, 75, 100, 135 and 152mm have not changed optically, but the 18, 21, 25, 27, 32, 40 and 50mm have all seen a redesign to increase the coverage. The image the previous Panchro Classics produced was gorgeous, so it's great to see Cooke bringing them to full frame. Samyang has announced their first 2x anamorphic lens, as well as their new series of spherical primes, the Xeen Meister. Xeen getting into the anamorphic market has been circulating online for a while now, so it's great to see them finally sharing what they have been working on. Currently they have only shared info for one focal length, a 50mm t2.3. From the specs, this looks like a pretty large and heavy lens when we compare it to other options on the market. I'm really intrigued to see what price point these come in at, as Samyang have said that they should be more affordable than other options on the market, but that's a very vague statement, so we'll have to wait and see. Samyang have also announced the Zenemeister series. At release, this will consist of a 35, 50 and 85mm, all with a fast t1.3 aperture. They have a rated image circle of 43.2mm and similar weights and dimensions to each other. They also all feature eye data, which is a first for Samyang, and so is the ability to control and adjust what they are calling the X coating technology. There's not much information about how this works exactly though. I'm very excited to test both of these though as soon as I can. Right, so let's just fire through the rest of the lenses that have come out this month. P&S have announced the 150mm t2.5 and 200mm t3.2 1.5x anamorphic lenses, which means the Technovision 1.5x series consists of a 40, 50, 75, 100, 135, 150 and 200mm across the set. Essilor-Magic has announced the 21mm t1.6 Micro Prime, which has been designed for full-frame Sony E-mount cameras. This now brings the Essilor-Magic's Micro Prime series to 8 focal lengths. Mica has released the 105mm t2.1 in their full-frame Cine lens lineup. OM Systems has released the Mzuko ED 20mm f1.4. Panasonic released the Lumix S 35mm f1.8 for their L series cameras, and Laowa released their new 85mm f5.6 2x ultra macro APO for E, RF and M mount. There has been a massive range of firmware to come out this month as well. Canon released new firmware for the R5, R6 and 1DX Mark III, which looks to improve the autofocus performance and options. Panasonic has released new firmware for the GH5 Mark II, and with Atomos they have brought the ability to record B-RAW externally to the GH5S and the BGH1. Atomos have also brought updates to the Ninja 5, 5 Plus and Atom X Cast. However, the big updates here come from Red and Sony. Red have been steadily updating the Raptor and Komodo since both were released, and this month they've released 2 new beta firmwares which bring some long-awaited features to them both. Let's start off looking at the 1.6.1 Komodo beta build. This firmware adds a range of significant updates with a few standing out. Time-lapse support has finally been added, which people have been asking for a lot. You can also undercrank your frame rate now, and sync out and tally GPIO support has now been added as well. There have also been a few smaller fixes added too. The Raptor has also received a new beta firmware, which is 1.2.0. This brings ProRes recording internally, as well as the ability to record ProRes proxies, which is a fantastic addition. Time-lapse has also been added with a frame limit mode, which will be really helpful, as well as a new 4K 8:1 format, as well as a bunch more small changes and fixes. Both of these beta firmware updates are available via Red's website, link to which is down in the description below. We mentioned Sony releasing version 3 firmware for the FX9 quite a while ago now, and it is finally available to download for end users right now. There are some really key features that have been added with this update, such as anamorphic lens support with the ability to desqueeze 2x lenses in the viewfinder, the ability to assign a center scan mode which you can toggle via an assignable button, B4 lens support when using the LAEB1 adapter from Sony, and the Super 16 scan mode and real-time touch tracking autofocus using the LCD. This is a really great update for the FX9, so if you are an FX9 owner, make sure to head over to the Sony site via the link below to grab the new firmware. Bebob has released the Kokomodo, a V or gold mount plate for the Red Komodo to use with micro V or gold mount batteries. This plate mounts onto the dual BP plate on the back of the Komodo and converts the 14.4 volts from the battery down to the 7.2 needed by the Komodo, and it then plugs into the DC input on the bottom of the camera. The plate features a single D-tap, a USB-C output, a USB-A output, and 2 2-pin LEMO 12V outputs. One really nice touch is the on-off switch on the side of the plate. This doesn't change the power going to the camera, but instead cuts the power going to the accessories to help with protecting your camera's SDI port. While the plate isn't Red certified currently, this could be a nice option depending on how you are planning on rigging up your Komodo, though it definitely is on the more expensive end of the range of battery plates available for the Komodo. Rode has made some incredibly popular audio products over the years due to their balance of low cost and great performance. Well, earlier this month they announced the Lavalier 2. This newly designed lav mic looks to mix up the sub £100 lav mic market with a new low profile design with the capsule positioned on the front of the mic instead of the top like most lav mics have it. It also uses an omnidirectional polar pattern which will allow for more forgiving mic placement, but could also result in unwanted background noise being picked up. It also features a newly designed low-profile clip system, but why Rode decided to print their branding in white letters on the black clip is beyond me. I don't understand the thought process of making a product aimed at being more discreet and then slapping white branding all over it. Hopefully this is easily fixed with some matte black tape or a Sharpie. It has a standard 3.5mm TRS lock-in connector, which will be great for use with pro lav kits or even smartphones with the correct adapter. Out of the box you get a pop filter, mini fairy windshield, mounting clip, coloured ID rings, and a case for it all to go in. It is priced at just £99, which puts it well below the original lav from Rode, so I am intrigued to see how it performs, especially with the new design choices Rode have made here. Tascam announced their latest generation external recorder earlier this month, the Portacapture X8. This really does look like a next generation leap for audio recorders. The interface has gone full touchscreen, which should make operation easy, though I would like to see how well this works with gloves. It also features the ability to record 8 tracks internally, 192 kHz recording, 2 high quality microphones and 32-bit float recording. While it has the new touchscreen menu interface for control, it can also be controlled remotely via a smartphone app, though this will require a Bluetooth dongle, which is a bit annoying. It is on the more expensive side at just under £490, but this does look like a premium audio interface. If you want us to check this out more, let us know down in the comments below. Nanlite has announced a few new products, the Forza 150 and a new projection attachment for their Forza line of fixtures. This 150 is now the 5th fixture in the Forza lineup, which now consists of the 60, 150, 200, 300 and 500. This 170 watt fixture is aimed to be a punchy compact light that can be powered via the included power adapter or a V-lock plate, which is an optional extra. It uses Nanlite's FM mount but comes with a Bowens S-mount adapter, which means it has fantastic modifier flexibility. It also has the controls on the back of the fixture now and a separate 4-pin XLR power supply, which will make it great for lightweight setups. Nanlite's new projection mount, the PJ-BM, will feature an interchangeable 19 or 36 degree front lens to change the beam angle. It will come with one lens as standard, but both will be available separately. It features its own yoke like most projectors do, due to its roughly 7 or 8 kilograms in weight depending on the lens. This modifier comes with a gobo frame and 4 gobos, which are an industry standard size of 86 by 64.5mm. Extra gobos and an adjustable iris will also be available separately. This looks like a really good option for people who have bought into the Nanlite Forza series and maybe even other Bowens mount fixtures. Lee Filters have been making full-size filters for cinema and photography for years now, but earlier this month they released their new Element series of circular filters. They have brought 3 different filters to this new form factor: their Big Stopper, which is a 10-stop ND, 2 variable NDs and a circular polarizer. The variable ND comes in 2 different variants, a 2 to 5 stop and a 6 to 9 stop. They both feature hard stops on the rotation that will limit the chance you could run into cross polarization. All of these are available in 67, 72, 77 and 82mm thrill-to-thread diameters and are reasonably priced for the quality of filter you should be getting. Let's get into our quick-fire honourable mentions. Links to details about these are all in the description below. DJI announced their new dual-camera mic system, which took us by surprise as mics aren't really what DJI normally make. Aputure fully released the 600X Pro, which we did a video on, which you can check out here. Zilla has launched a new range of USB-C dummy batteries for Sony NP-FZ100, Panasonic DMW DCC16, Nikon EN-EL15 and Canon LP6. Blackmagic have dropped the price of their Resolve keyboards and panels. Format High-Tech has released a range of new Cine Super Slim 4x5.65 diffusion and clear filters. Rode released their new compact dual-channel audio interface, the AI Micro. Light & Motion have announced 2 new interesting lights for hybrid shooters, the Stella Pro Reflex and Reflex S. Hollyland released their new Cosmos C1 wireless video TXRX set, which now features a UVC interface for live production integration. Vaxis have released their new 5-inch wireless monitor, the A5H. Bright Tangerine has released the Misfit Kick 360, and Xeon has announced the Crane M3 for lightweight mirrorless cameras. If you enjoyed this, please make sure you subscribe ready for next month's quick kit, and let us know what your favourite piece of kit to come out this month is in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.
you.